The show we speak our minds and open doors. This is
Bungari drama.
It's the headlines.
Very good afternoon, I'm Rose Ratsaga. More than a month after Mitchell's Plains children were killed in a fire which ripped through their home, the siblings will finally be buried. Ward Councillor Joanne Woodman said the mayor's office would pay for the burial of Zaythun Brandt, 8 months, and Zayruna Brandt, 2 years old, because the family could not afford to. The girls burnt to death on the 12th of June. Little Zaythun's remains were found sprawled over her baby sister after the flames had been doused, as if she had been protecting her. Their funeral is expected to take place on July 24th. Former Governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has reignited his war of words with US President Donald Trump. In a video posted on his Twitter page, Schwarzenegger took aim at Trump following the president's joint press conference with Russia President Vladimir Putin. The Terminator star's comments of disappointment come after Trump's recent visit to the UK to meet Queen Elizabeth. Believe hitmaker Cher is just another celebrity unimpressed by the US president, calling his behavior with meeting British monarch inexcusable. Catch me again at 2:30, bringing you your latest sports updates. Temperatures in Johannesburg are 13 degrees Celsius, 27 in Lagos, and 22 degrees in Washington, D.C. If we have missed anything newsworthy, feel free to let us know. We are brandlive.co.za on Facebook and Brand Live Radio on Twitter as well. I am Khawkhelo Rebel Rose Ratsaga on Facebook as well. Next up is the Dramatic Talk with Bongani Drama.
There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people.
Brenda Fassie coming through, and this one is titled Black President. We love it so much right here on the Dramatic Talk, obviously. Celebrating Tatu Mandela's 100th century year, and we love him so much, and may his soul rest in peace as well. 5:52 Central African Time on the Dramatic Talk. Myself, Bongani Drama. Thank you so much for streaming it on brandlive.co.za. Coming up on the show, on the Convo Corner, we're talking why do women generally hate each other? Quite huge. I want to hear your views on that one. Drama team coming through. Miss Universe Demiline Peters dating American football player. Hey, a dream for a lot of ladies, I guess. Rapper T.I. charged for assaulting security guard as well. Rose Ratara brings you your sports updates, and I'm going to be having a chill and chat with Jazz Beam. I'm going to let you, if you don't know about her, I'm going to let you a bit later and find out who she is. News as well coming through with Rose Ratara as well. Loads and loads of music coming through. 6:02 Central African Time. Rose, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Drama?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And I mean, you know, we were listening obviously to the lecture by Obama, President Obama, yesterday. And how was it for you?
Quite inspiring. Yeah.
I mean, you know, touched a lot of things, and for me, one of the things that he touched on basis was obviously, you know, the reason of people that want to, you know, pull other people down mostly.
Yeah.
That in actual fact they're not comfortable with themselves, and I think that's one of the reasons why they do it. They want to, you know, seem that they are, you know, probably bigger than the others, but in actual fact, no, it's not the case.
Yeah.
They're not having fun.
Trying to compensate for what they lack.
Completely. It's quite scary. All right, folks, that's what we're going to be having for you right here on the show. I'm hoping that you're ready and gunned for it. It is the Dramatic Talk of Bongani Drama. Straight to it's time for the Convo Corner. Welcome aboard the Dramatic Talk.
I've Kulumeni in the Convo Corner.
Check this out.
It's time for the Convo Corner.
Absolutely time for the Convo Corner. And this is an interesting question that a lot of women are afraid of tapping into. Why do women generally hate each other? Hey, Rose.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Do you experience such as a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I'm a female, and you know, you get hate every now and then.
But what do you think is the main problem or the main issue that women would generally, not like each other? What is it? What is the problem?
I don't know what's with the vibe, hey, but normally it would be the other female's personality.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll say, oh, I don't like her, she's too much, or she's too dramatic, she's a drama queen, she thinks she's better than the other.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. So basically I think it's just women judging each other. We constantly judge each other without even knowing it, getting to know each other first.
That is horrendous. That is horrible, I guess.
Yeah.
And I never know why it happens. However, found research here, and a woman, Anonymous mentioning, I think we're all familiar with the phrase, women are so much crueler to each other than men. Now, someone out there right now might be thinking, hey, never was I mean to anyone. You're generalizing. Now, amidst all the awful things that are happening in the world we live in, I still believe that out there are genuine, wonderful, kind-hearted, beautiful women. But, you know, that is not, you know, made here. Good woman or not, she mentions that I still can't get over the fact that women generally hate each other. Now, any woman listening or, you know, to this right now would rather, with Anonymous, that at some point they either became the bully or the bullied. Now, even if someone of you won't admit it, in this research, Anonymous mentioned that I myself have my share of bullied moments when I was in high school days, and I grew up always lacking, locking myself rather in my room, you know, introverting like the introvert I truly am, she mentions. I was awkwardly, you know, taller than most girls, and I dressed funny, usually in my grandma's comfy grandma coats, paired with a navy blue uniform skirt, the length going to my ankles. Now, I was the center of attention, mainly because oversized pink floral coats, you know, stood out amidst the, you know, the then and believe still trendy navy blue denim hoodies. Now, the problem here, I think, with Anonymous is the fact that, you know, she has low self-esteem because, you know, she was taller. She would wear her grandma's coats and not look fantastic. And so, obviously, she'll be the center of attraction because of that back in school. So,
Yeah.
growing up then becomes a problem with her when she looks at other women and she goes, I hate them.
Yeah, and it I guess it became very difficult for her to build that confidence
Completely.
because she was always the center of attention.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
with
something
insecure
else.
people. I mean, I don't understand why we put each other down. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a saint here.
Yeah.
I'm also guilty of
So you
doing
also
that.
do sometimes do it, Rose. My goodness. But then where does it come from, you know, for you? Maybe we can try and help someone out. Maybe, you know, for you, where does it come from, this hate? Maybe generally it might not be hate. It might be just, it's just not my type of, type of coffee or whatever the case may be. But where does it come from?
Honestly, it's insecurities.
Uh-huh.
You know,
There we go.
yes, sometimes we have those insecurities.
As women in
And
general, or, you know, just you in specific?
Personally,
Uh-huh.
I have certain insecurities, and then I try to make myself feel better by putting the other one down.
Ah. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Shucks, we live in a world of cruelty, if I may. But I'm not saying you're cruel, Rose. All right? I'm just saying that it gets crazier.
But I'm just being honest. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a saint or whatever. We go through this generally.
It's crazy.
You know?
Now, any women listening, as I mentioned, the thing with women is that they fight for approval. You know, Anonymous mentioned, even if it means fighting each other. When we see something that we could feed, to our starving egos with, a spirit right to it and attack, but we are so engrossed with feeding and boosting our own egos that we forget what we feed on. Now, other women's self-esteem, she mentions. It seems like success isn't success without beauty and looks. We are threatened by the woman prettier, slimmer, and generally better than us. Imagine the things women could go through if only they loved themselves more. If only society didn't dictate the image of what beauty should look like. If only women were nicer to each other. So beauty becomes the tip here, and it becomes really the argument where women and actual facts say that if the other woman is more beautiful than I'm not, then hey, I'm not gonna chill with her.
Yeah.
Self-esteem.
Yeah.
Like we
or
said.
if she's wearing a weave,
Yeah.
you know, she's trying to be a slay queen and she thinks she's better than the other. You
Oh,
know,
no.
it's just a lot. Yeah.
Shucks, I didn't know this.
I think we need to work on uplifting each other as
More than anything,
women.
as women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Bongiwe Nkomazana mentioned gossip is synonymous with women, unfortunately, because it is a habit that we just cannot break, right? They can't seem to break. We are so wrong for this addiction of ladies, but women will talk about anything, no matter how good or unimportant, in bad light, right? Now, it is ironic she mentions how women generally dislike each other. I believe there are women out there without a single evil bone in their bodies, but most of us tend to despise the next woman as fast as we can blink. Now, with the odds against us and being, a man's world, you would think we would be, each other's number one supporters and shoulders to cry on, and this is not the case. Now, on the contrary, we are our biggest enemies, she mentions. There's nothing more annoying than when a man asks why women are so mean to each other. It is annoying because I can't deny nor defend it, as it is true, and our lack of unity is downright upsetting and a tad bit uncivilized as well. Now, if you have found yourself throwing a daggers at another woman, for reasons unknown, for even yourselves, please continue reading so that we learn what causes this and can start to learn towards loving and appreciate one another as women. Right?
Yeah.
Gossip comes through, low self-esteem comes through, looking at other women and going, she's more prettier than I am, I'm a little bit chubby, she's thinner, whatever the case may be, she's got a man that loves her, and that's hate towards the other woman.
Insecurities, yes. I think it also comes with age, because I feel like as you grow up, you don't really care about what the next person has to say.
Yeah.
You're focusing on yourself more, like
Look,
trying
I've
to
seen it.
grow.
I've seen it happen when I was at a salon. I was doing my hair, and I've seen how women generally look at each other at the salon. Generally, when you're coming to come do your hair, and how they look as well. If what is she wearing? I generally do look at women that would look at each other or look at what you're wearing. Like look at the clothes that you're wearing, look at the stiletto you're wearing, and literally just generalize on the person you are from that.
I think also it's probably psychological as well.
Yeah, I
It's
can get-
probably deeper.
Shucks.
Yeah.
But then it takes me back to the way one grew up, the morals and values that they had from home.
Yeah.
On whether are you gonna hate another woman or you're gonna love a woman generally as they are and love yourself while doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah? It gets a bit crazy. Alrighty, folks, we're gonna keep the conversation happening throughout the entire show. Hashtag the Convo Corner at Bongani_drama at Bongani Drama on Facebook as well. 14:14 Central African Time on brandlive.co.za. On the other side of this, drama time is coming through. Stick around.
try to mess with my energy. They try to take all this energy. They cannot mess with my energy. They cannot mess with my energy. They cannot mess with my energy.
They cannot mess with my energy. I put a case on my enemy. Feeling getting church for you play a quick. Squaddy no way like my lemon team. Say again a bitch. It's your boss and down, but you mess with my past, yeah, but hang on me. Getting the cheese, but I send you piss. Making you freeze, not to get a twitch. I'm Bambegi, I'm a ghost, yeah. Getting high in his hole, yeah. Uring, I'm gonna make you live really as jiggy. I'm hanging on like the most. If I choose, I paga spag. The shoe don't fit, I just decide. He ain't engineering, I study pass. He ain't engineering, I study charge. Sama such a one, and Bella fed a spelling pin. They say I'm full of darkness, man, I'm belling me. Ungas Moshellis catch a system 17. Man, you can never mess with my energy. Nyasika nyempe, makolo kuspitu zobrika nyachel. Funu kumtinu zotinu balega sokshaya ngwispina with bricks as pele. They cannot mess with my energy. They cannot mess with my energy. They cannot mess with my energy. Man, they cannot mess with my energy.
We just bought a new piece. My gang and my clan, I need case. I stand with the realest, you'll never catch us trying to buy face. I'm in my space, different mind state. Haters eating from my plate, but you can never get on my steak. That's my money, nigga. The talk at Tabello, I just did some lines. I did 16 at the back of the bus. Performed it to crowds and they all caught the buzz. The money is coming, I'm not in a rush. My gang in your seat that you driving no cars. Walking the club, babies making a fuss. Hoping that I might just spend at the bar. Yeah.
Mike the Most, and this one is titled The Energy. We had him right here in studio 2 weeks ago, and it's amazing, you know. And I think he had, two openings of his EP that were stunning. One in Kantari and one at, I can't remember one. I can't remember. Cocoon nightclub. Last week, yeah, he invited us, but we couldn't make it. Other things happening. But we love him so much, and we pray that it went well. We still listen to him. We love him so much, right? Alrighty, folks, it's 19 after 2 Central African time. The conversation on the Convo Corner is still happening, and we're still asking why women hate each other so much. Let us know. Hashtag the Convo Corner at Bryn Live Radio on Twitter, brynlive.co.za on Facebook, Bongani_drama on Twitter, Bongani Drama Square on Facebook as well. Let's go straight to it. It's time for Dramatainment.
Now, this is
Bongani drama.
Extra, read all about it.
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
It's the Dramatainment.
Absolutely time for Dramatainment. And the first story we have for you on Dramatainment is Miss Universe Demi-Leigh Nel-Peters dating American football player. Now, she's out here living other people's dreams, Rose. Hey, is she living your dream as well?
No.
No, you don't want to get...
Is she leaving yours?
I know. I'm just asking if probably, you know...
I suspect she is.
You probably just, want to see yourself at, a former NFL quarterback's back. Perhaps.
No, I don't want to be a baller wife.
You don't want to be.
Nah.
Now, Demi-Leigh Nel-Peters is reportedly dating former NFL quarterback Tim Tebow. Now, Tim confirmed the news in an interview with ESPN's anchor Pedro Gomez, mentioning, and I quote, "She's really special, and I'm very lucky and blessed for her coming into my life. I'm usually very private with these things, but I'm very, very thankful," he mentioned. Rather. Now, I pray it lasts. Me, myself, Bongani Drama, I'm praying it lasts. I mean, like, one day we report, cuteness. Oh, it's nice. Then the next day, it's court drama, right?
Yeah,
Next day, it's a million, billion court cases happening.
Let's find out next week on Dramatainment.
Now, last week, his sister, Katie, shared a picture of her brother with Miss Universe at a photo shoot at Scene. Now, Miss Universe has been living at large in New York ever since receiving her crown. She has, however, confirmed the news. But, honey, she hasn't confirmed these news, right? But look, we know, right? We are in South Africa, and in South Africa, we know you're pregnant before you are even with child. We know it. We find out. We know when you're gonna divorce. We already know it.
Yeah.
So
we get
she
the
mustn't.
signs.
We
Joe.
get
We
the
know.
signs.
You're right. We know.
We have it, right? That's what we have for you, right on Drama Entertainment. Is rapper T.I. charged for assaulting a security guard. Now, he's likely to face no jail time. The argument T.I. had with the security guard is said to be stirring up in a part of an assault case. Now, the rapper has been charged with 3 misdemeanors. Now, prosecutors in Henry County charge the rapper will simply, just assault. Now, public drunkenness and disorderly conduct stemming from his arrest back in May as a security guard refused to let him into the premises. Now, his lawyer mentioned to an international gossip cartel that the charges are baseless, ill-founded, and unjustified. In a statement, the lawyer further mentioned that Ewan James, the security guard, was fired from the way he handled the situation with T.I. It was first reported that the security guard called 911 and said the rapper was threatening him and asking him to step outside of the guard's shack, rather. The rapper was adamant that he did not do anything and he did not have to get arrested, right?
Yeah. But what is up with Mr. Harris? He seems to be in trouble
all
the time.
Right? That's what's happening with him. And, look, when you are big and that's why I want to be a celebrity in my life, because then you get away with a lot. You get away with a lot of things.
You sort of become invincible.
Yeah, you sort of like make things disappear very much, like in a blink of an eye.
But I mean, he's got, how many children does he have? I think he's got like 7 kids.
T.I.
Yes, and some of them are males, they're boys.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be that father.
You don't want to be that father that is kicking down security guards. You don't want to be that man.
It's anger.
It's
too much
too
anger.
much.
Or maybe
It's
it's
a
the
lot.
divorce, I don't know.
I guess so. Alright, folks, that's what we have for you right on Drama Entertainment. Catch Drama Entertainment every Fridays on Khao TV channel 265 with myself, Bongani Drama. For more of your Drama Entertainment news on the scoop, Heart of Twitter, Fashion Express, and Actor of the Week as well. Viva Mahotela Queens as coming through Don Dada and the Mahotela Queens, 14:23 Central African Time. On the other side of this, Jazz B is going to be joining me having a chill and chat as well. I'm going to let you a little bit later to find out who she is and what she does as well. Rose Rataka coming through at 2:30 with your sports update. Stick around.
Transguy birthed the king. All hail the chief. Wake the giant from his sleep. The black Pimpinelli Ducky D's on the daily. That was the early 60s. Freedom fighter, about to break the levee of a broken system. Now I feel the winds of change blowing right through the trees. It's cool breeze over rough seas. Yeah, it brings peace and unity. And after that, we were born free. And that's the start of our story. Pulling the branch of a tree, the name that was given to me. The heavens look down in the grave. Locked up but on course. Destiny favors the brave. History written on page. Pacing, he contemplating the situation they facing. They freedom just like the nation degrading. That's how they played him. Like here I sit in my 4-corner tomb, staring out the window, hearing the guards' laughter. Here I sit in my 4-cornered room, working for my people, building up my Africa.
Madiba.
fighting for equal rights for rich and poor. We united now. Put your fist up in the air for those that's not here. No, this a revolution. Come together, have a celebration. All for the father of the nation. Get your education for the next generation. Your time soon come, have patience.
Don Dada featuring Martella Queens. This one is titled Viva Madiba. We love it so much because Don Dada was also in studio and, quite amazing. And we love this collaboration. We wish more and more. In South Africa, folks, we are obviously celebrating, the centenary of Dr. Mandela. 100 years this year. How amazing is that?
How cool is that?
It's amazing. Is there anything that, you miss about him, Rose, or anything you would actually just like to say, obviously, about what he has done for us?
No, he's really... if I were to look back at where our parents were and where I am today, I think I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
It's amazing. Someone said this morning, I was listening to another radio station, they mentioned the fact that he was one of those people that when he is in a room and there's someone who feels so intimidated, what he will do in actual fact is that he will then crack a joke and only focus on that person that he felt the energy from, that the person was not feeling comfortable being in that space because they're probably feeling, shallow or whatever the case may be. And I love that about him. I love that. I wish I would have, could have met him before he passed on. But yeah,
but his spirit, his legacy still lives on
completely.
For another 100 years.
For another 100 years. Alrighty, folks, let us know what you think and tell us, some of these, lessons you've learned from Tata Mandela as well at Brand Live Radio on Twitter, brandlive.co.za on Facebook, at Bongani_drama on Facebook and on Twitter as well. 14:28 Central African Time. Rose Rathaga standing by with your sports update.
Time to talk about sports.
Don't touch that dial. It's time for the sports news and the sporting stars of tomorrow right here on Brand Live.
Kickstarting your sports bulletin this afternoon, Kevin Anderson believes he can improve on current world ranking of number 5. A very good afternoon. I am Rose Rathaga. Kevin Anderson says he feels like he belongs at the top of men's tennis after his run to the Wimbledon final. The South African made headlines by reaching the showpiece match at Wimbledon, where he lost 6-2, 6-2, 7-6, 7-3 to the Serbia's Novak Djokovic. It was an impressive run to the final for Anderson, who beat 8-time former champion Roger Federer in the quarterfinals before winning a marathon 6-hour and 36-minute semi-final against American John Isner. ABSA Premiership among world's top 10 leagues. Gordon Igesund believes the ABSA Premiership is among the 10 top leagues in world football, although he admitted its response are unevenly split. Igesund has won 4 league titles with 4 different clubs: Santos, Manning Rangers, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. The 61-year-old knows what it takes to win the title with a less fancy team, but even he admits that it is becoming difficult for some clubs to compete in the market. There's lots of money in the local game at the moment, with sponsors in one of the best leagues in the world, one of the top 10 leagues, but there are certain clubs who just haven't got the type of sponsorship, or they haven't got the kind of money, Igesund told. Catch me again later bringing you your last news bulletins. Let us know about anything newsworthy and sportsworthy that we've missed. Temperatures remain 13 degrees in Johannesburg, 27 degrees in Lagos, 22 degrees in Washington, D.C. On our social media platforms, we are brandlive.co.za on Facebook, Brand Live Radio on Twitter as well, and I am Khaogelo Rebel Rose Rathaga on Facebook as well. Stay tuned to the Dramatic Talk with Bongani Drama.
Thank you so much, Rose, for those sports update. Now, tell me, France won. I told you. I predicted it from a guy who never doesn't know anything about soccer. I told you France was going to take it, and France did.
And it did.
And it did. And I'm so glad. I'm happy.
And it did, but it's I mean, France is what, dominated by African boys?
Yeah,
So the World Cup is won by Africa.
Look, people are all saying that France and Africa, you know, I'm just like,
You know?
whatever. Let them be, let them do their thing until South Africa wins it. Let's cheer.
La Lela, the land is coming. The land is coming back. We are gonna
Completely.
get back.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Rose. The 1431, catch Rose again. Before we actually tap out, I'll say goodbye. See, I think because Jasby is here, I'm already tapping stuff. How crazy is that? The energy, all right? All right, folks, 1431 on the other side of this. Jasby joins me for a chill and chat. Stick around.
Can you tell that I'm coming closer? And I don't wanna see no females acting fresh when I show up. And when I see you, my heart's a roller coaster. I forget about the past, the Luhoiwa. I don't got no other lover in mind. And if we're gonna take this forward, catch me outside. I don't got no other baby in mind. And if we're gonna make this happen, let's do it right. Can you tell I'm waiting for you, just follow me. Can you tell my body's moving slow? And I just can't take my eyes off you. I can tell you noticing the glow up. I forget who you with. Tell who you are. I don't got no other lover in mind. Oh, if you wanna take this forward, catch me outside. Yeah. I don't got no other baby in mind. And if we're about to make this happen, let's do it right. Can you tell you're just my type, wasting no time. I'm waiting for you, just follow me. You're just my type, wasting no time. I'm waiting for you, just follow me. You're my weekend special. Can you hold me down when no one's around? I want tonight to last forever. Maybe we can be something later. Have to go, I won't regret ya. Feels so good, I won't forget ya. Say something good. I don't got no other lover in mind. And if we're gonna take this forward, catch me outside. I don't got no other baby in mind. And if we're gonna make this happen, let's do it right. Let's do it right. Let's do it right. You're just my type, wasting no time. You know that I like you, baby. You're just my type, wasting no time.
Viewing Kelwana and Ikaza live on the Dramatic Talk on BrandLive.co.za 1434 Central African Time, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know everyone from Greece is tuning in. Thank you so much on my Facebook Live and on Turkey as well. Everyone that's streaming in, thank you so much. Now, Jessica Bovary.
My whole ID name.
Now, she's popularly known as Just B, as a 25-year-old City Mom media gem in the making and radio persona as well. Born in Durban, KZN, Jazz always had a dream of entering the radio industry, inspired by some greats as well. Moving up to the City of Gold in 2007, she matriculated at Fort Hoërskool in the east of Johannesburg, serving as an editor of the high school newspaper and contributing to the school's arts department. Just be welcome aboard the Dramatic Talk.
Hey, boo.
How are you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm so happy you came through.
I'm so glad I came. Listen, firstly, can we just talk about where you guys are actually located? I've never been to this part of Joburg before.
Fantastic.
But it's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. And
It
a lot
really
of people
is.
don't know about it. And I'm hoping that, they will.
We must educate them.
Right? We
It's
must.
a gem, yeah.
Just take me through growing up in KZN.
Yeah. I was born at a hospital close to South Beach called King Edward Hospital.
Yeah.
I was a very ugly baby, according to my mom.
Do you hate other women?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
great.
I don't know. Let's actually touch on that,
Let's
right?
tap on
Because
that.
as you were having the conversation, it's something that
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about. Not only is toxic masculinity a
Yeah.
problem where we have these rhetorics in society where we speak about how boys should be boys, and those are the type of things that we accept in society. But on the flip side, there's also something called toxic femininity, where that PhD syndrome that I was talking
Yes,
about,
pull her
pulling her
down.
down,
Yeah.
it's part of that as well. So I think as
Shucks.
females, we've really been preconditioned to sort of, not, I wouldn't say hate, but compete with each other, which is good, but not always for the right things. We need to know what to compete about. And if you see another female that's looking better than you, maybe you should, up your game instead of hating.
But I mean, the other thing then becomes, how do we deal with that? Do we call seminars, to help out women that are going through that? What do we do about it?
We need to open conversations.
Yeah.
We need to be honest as well. I feel like once you open the lines for dialogue between females, as difficult as it is already,
Completely.
communication is the key to everything. I
Yeah.
mean, knowledge is power, but understanding is everything at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think let's have the dialogues. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's talk realness, because I call myself the realest broad out here.
Yeah?
I promote realness.
By
So
all
let's be
means.
real with each other. And I think if we start there, then it opens the door to a lot more. It's not enough to say women hate each other. What are we going to do
What are
about
you going
it?
to do about it?
What can we do about
What
it?
can we do about it?
Yeah.
My next question was going to be the real brought out here. Where did that come from?
I needed a tagline. So when I joined the Y Academy at YFM, I remember our previous programs manager, he said to me, what will your radio name be and what will your tagline be?
Shucks.
And I remember I was like, people will never be able to pronounce my surname, which is
Yeah.
Bouvier.
Oh, it's actually Bouvier.
It's
'Cause we
Bouvier.
go Bouvari.
It's French, right? So
Oh,
most people
nice.
do pronounce
Bouvier.
it Bouverie,
Yeah.
but it is Bouvier. So he's like, shorten that down, so Jess B came from there.
Oh, nice.
And the realest brought out here basically comes from the fact
Nice.
that one of the things that I'm very passionate about is always being honest and being myself when I'm on air. So if you
Nice.
listen to the show, you'll hear all of my blunders, all of my mess-ups and whatnot, but essentially that's who I am. When I
Yeah.
speak to my friends, when I speak to my daughters, when I communicate or socialize with people, what you hear on air is what you're going to hear in real life
In real
as well,
life
and that's
as
why
well.
I'm the realist. Yeah.
The transition from KZN to Johannesburg, how was that for you? Transitioning from that?
Look, it wasn't much of a transition. We moved up here in 2007.
Yeah.
My mom came here for a work opportunity, and at that time I was about 13.
Uh-huh.
So just adjusting from primary school to high school wasn't much of a big deal for me. I adapt quite easily to new environments.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that the language barrier was hard for me.
Shucks.
My mom is colored, and I grew up being raised by her as a single mom. So my mom knew no vernac whatsoever,
Oh,
and all the
no.
vernac that I know, I basically taught myself. So having taught myself Zulu in Durban, and then moving up to Joburg, where it's predominantly Tswana, Sotho, a whole bunch, a kaleidoscope of different languages.
You
it was
have to learn.
It was a culture shock.
It was a culture shock
Yeah,
for
it
you.
was.
But how did you deal with that? I mean, as a young, woman coming through from KZN, coming through, and you're thinking, but there's so many other languages you could learn.
I had to adapt quickly, which is a good thing because I'm very adaptable.
Nice.
But over and above that, man, it was so exciting. Being
Yeah.
a 13-year-old in Joburg, starting a new school as well. I always choose to look to on the positive side of
Lovely.
life. So there were a lot more positives than there were negatives. The
Lovely.
growth potential, the growth that I made up here in Joburg. I think if I had stayed or if my mom had kept me in Durban, I
Shucks.
probably wouldn't have reached the things that, or achieved what I achieved in such a short amount of
Completely.
time. Yeah.
Some of the things that, one of the things, rather, that you are not afraid to tap into, Jazz, is the fact that you were that you were very young when you had your babies.
Yes.
And how did you then manage to still gun for your dreams?
I didn't allow myself to believe that it wasn't possible.
Yeah.
It's also something that I'm very passionate about. The reason that I chose and decided to follow my radio dream is because I know for a fact that there's a lot of females, young mothers out there as well, who have now become a statistic, because that's what I was. I was 18 and pregnant, 19 when I
Yeah.
had my daughter,
Shucks.
and I was a statistic. I was
Yeah.
a teenage mom. And I remember sitting with myself once and asking myself, if I don't do this radio thing, what else can I do? And I honestly could not think of anything else. So from that day on, I promise that I will get on air, and my biggest thing is to speak to that female or that woman or whoever it is that has actually in some way become a stereotype in society and feels because of that stereotype or label they can't achieve what they want to. You can. Jess did it. you can.
You
There's
can.
literally nothing stopping you.
And was it planned having, children at a very young age? Was it planned, or was it something that really was a spur of a moment thing that just happened?
Really wasn't planned. I was in college, Boston Media House, first year when I fell pregnant with my daughter. By the way, I graduated not graduated, sorry. I passed my first year.
Just by the
top
way.
of my class.
Right.
But the day after I got my results for first year, I actually went into labor the next day.
Oh, wow.
It was very interesting. It was not planned, of course. Nobody plans to be a mom at 18.
Yeah.
But what was planned is my actions afterwards, which was still to pursue my dreams, which was still to give my daughter the best life possible, and not let her suffer the consequences of my actions. So
Completely.
my biggest inspiration. The second one, however, Jeannie.
Yeah?
She was
Jeannie
planned.
was planned.
She was planned.
Is Jeannie the one that sings a lot, right?
No, that's Jordan.
Is it Jordan that
Jordan
sings?
raps.
Oh, wow. I remember hearing you at 16 at some point.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And
yeah.
Chance, you sound like you want to be, radio broadcaster by all means, right? Yourself. Like, have your own show. Are you gunning for that?
You know what? I'm very comfortable. Ooh, dangerous word, but let me not use comfortable. I'm very happy with where I am at the moment. Of course, my dreams in broadcasting and my dreams in general go far beyond and far reaching past broadcasting. I would love to have my own show one day, but all in God's timing. I know also that if you rush the process, you stand to lose a lot. So it's the same as if you plant a seed. You cannot be taking that seed out every single day and checking to see if it's growing or not. So I'm very comfortable and happy, rather, with where I am. And apart from broadcasting, I have a lot of other dreams that I want to accomplish. Hopefully by the end of this year, they're gonna happen.
Completely, I'm glad. And when you speak it out there, it will literally just happen for you, right? When you speak it into the universe, it will come back, to you. Now, how's your experience been working on the Breakfast Show? Because obviously you've done night shows before, and now you are, with DJ Ankletip on YFM. How has that been for you?
I don't think people understand my relationship with Tap.
I think I do.
In a very short amount of time, and I absolutely cannot take full credit for this, but I joined the Y Academy in 2016. It's now 2018 and I'm on a breakfast show. It's unheard of. Before the Y Academy, I had absolutely no radio experience. So literally a dream, right? And when I was in the Y Academy, I was scouted by DJ Ankletap to join him on what was then... the DJ Ankletap show.
Yeah.
Very black girl move there. And we worked together from 6 to 9 p.m. That was an awesome show. Now the breakfast show is a completely different piece.
story.
I was telling you that I'm so exhausted right now. Up at 3 a.m. every single morning. Done at 9, but there's also life after the show. The show is amazing. I love it. I'm growing every single day.
Great.
A lot of people were like, is she really ready to be on breakfast with no previous radio experience? And I mean, that speaks to the fact that anything is possible.
Anything is possible, very true.
I'm ready, been ready. I'm enjoying it impeccably, like immensely. I am. And DJ Ankletap, one of the best mentors in radio right now. And salute to him. It's a great,
personally, I really think you're doing quite an amazing job. And
Thank you.
With regards to whatever anyone else is saying, I really, because you're doing one of the most, complete, absolute jobs of giving people traffic. People need to get to work and to school, on time. So you do that.
Apart from that, I think it's very important to note roles within the radio industry, within a radio show as well. I am a co-host on a breakfast show. That means that my mandate is to make sure that my host sounds as impeccable as possible. He is the leader of the show, and I am the co-captain. So once you understand your role as well, giving traffic, giving content, commenting on whatever's happening, giving interviews and stuff becomes a lot easier. When you know your place, you do what you're supposed to do. So it's been really great.
So much inspiration. Thank you so much, Jez. And now, where would you like to end up, years from now in the industry?
How far?
Yeah.
How many years?
I don't know. Maybe let's say 10?
10. Wow. I hope I'm still alive.
You will
I hope
be.
I'm still alive. I don't care where I end up. What I care about is that I leave a legacy. So I know right now, brand JSB, it's growing. We're in radio right now, but I see myself on television within the next year. So I have very short-term goals.
Fantastic.
TV, I see branding, I see lots of things. I'm also an MC and motivational speaker. So in terms
and
of
an
PR,
influencer as well, social
and
media
an influencer as well. So in terms of PR and everything, most of my goals right now are short term because life is very fleeting. To think 10 years ahead, I know most people be like, Jess, you crazy for saying that. But I really feel
I never think that.
I really feel like 10 years from now is quite far. So in about a year or 3, just know that you'll be knowing a lot more about me. But like I always say, I always advocate for the fact that I'm not doing this for me. As a imam, my responsibility to the world and to my girls is a lot bigger than just being famous or whatnot. In fact, I always say I do not want to be famous. I want to be infamous. That's what I want. I want to be infamous. I want my girls to walk into a room and not have to introduce themselves because Jess B was the imam.
Oh wow, Jess B from YFM, folks, on Y Mornings with DJ Anchor Tab on 99.2. Alrighty, it's 14:46 Central African time. On the other side of this, we play 5 questions quiz.
Oh
with you. It's going to be interesting. And Gia, I'm doing fine. Stick around.
Please relax, let me have a moment of your time. Oh, I got something to tell. You see me, one day I almost lost my mind. I live to tell you everything. Oh no, I lost my mind. I never took the time to see what I was feeling inside. For years you held my light, you had me locked up in your night. And then the morning break, that's when I knew that we were over. It never ever felt the same since that day. I know you're doing quite alright. Everything I'm doing just fine. I'm doing fine. The sun still shines on you. There's nothing in the world I know I cannot do. So full, I see that diving into my soul, and you didn't even care to know how tarnished I felt. See, your problem is I understand me more than you know. All you wanted was a backseat. Kick, push, pull me by the right beat. Play, cheat, you eat. Oh, out of my soul.
And Gia, I'm doing fine. We love her so much and we play her a lot right to the dramatic talk on brandlive.co.za. 14:48, still having a chill and chat with Jazz B. Now, Jazz, 5 questions quiz. 5 questions, A or B. All right?
Okay.
Alrighty. Do we have our clock in? Clock slotting in. Is our clock playing? 3, 2, 1. Now, news bulletin or traffic?
News bulletin. Traffic, both.
Oh, you choose one.
Traffic.
Traffic. Chiliam or Dino Ranaka?
Dino Ranaka.
OPW or Dead My Family?
None.
Oh, you have to choose one.
Take my family.
DJ Uncle Tap or DJ Fresh?
DJ Uncle Tap.
Shapa
Yes.
Thank you so much. How did she do? Was it about 10 seconds in, hey? Fantastic.
pretty
Jazz,
good.
congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that's it. That's a game and we love you so much. News bulletin, you said.
Yes.
Dino Ranaka. And you said OPW, I think? Or Dead My Family. Dead My Family and then DJ Uncle Tap as well.
Of course.
Fantastic.
That wasn't even a fair question. That was not even fair.
Jazz, thank you so much for really coming through and
Thank
appreciating
you.
our invite as well.
Thank you for having me.
Right.
And I see what you're doing. I see
Thank
the
you.
hustle. I
Thank you.
support it.
Thank
And
you.
I'm very proud of you. I'm glad I met you.
Thank you so much. Jazz B, folks, on the Dramatic Talk on brandlive.co.za. Rose coming up with your last news bulletin. For now, though, we're going to go for a very quick one and we'll be right back. Stick around.
wyse 'n nuwe Suid-Afrika te skep. In pursuance of my opening address to Parliament, I am now in a position to announce that Mr. Nelson Mandela will be released at the Victor Verster prison on Sunday, the 11th of February at about 3 p.m. Yesterday evening, I met with Mr. Mandela in Cape Town, together with Ministers Viljoen and Coetzee. During the meeting, Mr. Mandela was informed of the government's decision regarding his release. We would all like Mr. Mandela's release to take place in a dignified and orderly manner. To attain this, government officials are at the moment involved in discussions with parties concerned in order to afford them the opportunity to make suitable arrangements.
Now, I will not shout cheers because I had expected that for this final session of the current parliament, I'd be given something a little more stronger than water. We are therefore pleased to announce that we are able once again to increase old age pensions.
It's time to buckle up.
Now, this is
Deputy President Thabo Mbeki, whom we all expect to be the President of South Africa, exemplifies this approach. Many of us will return to the second democratic parliament. Others will not return to this hallowed institution, whether because of the electorate's judgment on our parties, or because of our own choice, or because of the imperatives of advanced age.
The Dramatic Talk with myself, Bongani Drama. Bringing you insightful conversations on the Convo Corner, your latest celebrity news on Dramatainment, and your latest fashion news on Fashion Fade.
This is Bongani.
And myself, Rose Rataha, bringing you your latest news and sports updates.
Every Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. Only on www.brandlive.co.za.
It's the headlines.
Children killed in fire to finally be buried more than a month after blaze. And Arnold Schwarzenegger calls Trump a wet noodle. This is me bringing you your last news bulletin. Good afternoon, I'm Rose Rataha. More than a month after two Mitchell's Plain children were killed in a fire which ripped through their homes, the siblings will finally be buried. Ward Councillor Joan Woodman said Mayor's office would pay for the burial of Zaythun Brandt, 8 months old, and Zahura Brandt, 2 years old, because the family could not afford to. The girls burnt to death on 12th June. Little Zaythun's remains were found sprawled over her baby sister after the flames had been doused, as if she had been protecting her. The funeral is expected to take place on July 24th. Former Governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has reignited his war of words with U.S. President Donald Trump. In a video posted to his Twitter page, Schwarzenegger took aim at Trump following the president's joint press conference with Russia President Vladimir Putin. The Terminator star's comments of disappointment come after Trump's recent visit to the UK to meet Queen Elizabeth. Believe hitmaker Cher is also just another celebrity unimpressed by the US president, calling his behavior when meeting with the British monarch inexcusable. Catch me again next week between 2 to 3 p.m. bringing you your latest news and sports update. If we have missed anything news and sports worthy, feel free to let us know on our social media platforms. We are brandlive.co.za on Facebook, Brand Live Radio on Twitter as well. I am Khaukelo Rebel Rose Rataha on Facebook as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rose, and thank you very, very much. We'll do it again next week.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, it's 14:54 Central African time, folks. Saying goodbye to you. This is the Gateway. If you've missed it or you just tuned in, where have you been? Why do women generally hate each other? We spoke about that on the Convo Corner. Dramatainment came through, and of course, I had a chill and chat with amazing Jazz B from YFM 99.2. Catch her every Monday to Friday with DJ Anchor Tab on Y Mornings on 99.2. Thank you so much for streaming. It has been a pleasure. The name is Bongani Drama. Keep it, know it, and never forget it. Drop it the glory. An amazing one further. Here's a bit of Malume, an amazing track. DJ Dira coming through with Tipsy on this one. Folks, have an amazing one further to go with the glory. Bye bye.
soldier.